Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. We have got through the heart of earnings season. We're into maybe closer to the retail portion, which we actually don't have too many big retail names yet, but we will be getting close to that. There are definitely some interesting names this week. It'll slow down a little bit, but I mean, certainly not like a quiet week by any stretch. All right. So before the open on Monday, things start off with Trade Desk. About 10 points is what's priced in. And it's actually a big name reporting before the open on Monday for once. There's been a lot of mixed signals in ad tech companies this quarter, so this could be volatile. Stock has been kind of choppy, but you can see like range bound right near the bottom end of that range. So it seems due for a move, good or bad. Could be a mover. So I mean, maybe it's a volatility strategy candidate. And 10 points isn't cheap on options, but maybe if you can get risk down, this could be something to look at for Monday morning. After the close on Monday, so 3D Systems, about 5.5 points is what's priced in. Just got a nice pop on the Stratasys results this week, and we were actually in this for a ramp into the report candidate, so that worked out well. I'm not sure I'm going to play it now for its own earnings, or maybe just wait until after and try for like a day trade or a swing trade, because expectations are a little bit higher after SSYS, option pricing's a little bit higher. But I mean, it's definitely something I'm going to be watching on Monday after the close. AMC priced in about 7 points. It's not really an earnings play, but I'm sure it could probably move, but it's just not really like an earnings story, These stocks have been a little bit tougher lately. I mean, there's always potential with AMC. It's just I don't know if laying out money for earnings makes a whole lot of sense when it's just not. So I'm probably just going to get my popcorn and watch this report. PayPal. Let's see if I can load this. There we go. Okay, so PayPal is pricing in about 16 points. It's going to be interesting, right? Because it's been absolutely crushed since the whole pins chatter started, and even after denying it, or saying that they're not moving forward, it's still acting weak. Last quarter wasn't that great. That's when it got hit here. So, it's gonna be a little bit tougher because coming off like a not great quarter, stock isn't acting great. I mean, it does seem like the bar is lower, but even down here, I mean, the stock could have some more room to the downside if they really disappoint. It's kind of a tough call, and I know there's gonna be a lot of attention on it because there's been in the news lately. I don't really know what strategy makes sense. I'm really torn on the fence with this one. Roblox, about 9.5 points. What's priced in. Earnings haven't been that impressive since it came public, but the chart does seem coiled, and maybe it's due for a move. It has room higher, lower, right? I mean, room to the upside, to resistance, room down to support. Options aren't cheap, but maybe they leave some room. Earlier in the week, so you got 4 sessions for it to continue to move after they report. So maybe something, or if you're looking to wait, maybe you could see what they say and then hop in quickly right after. And then Space also reports, but I mean, they're pricing in 2 points, but they don't have any earnings, so it's not going to be a play for me. Before the open on Tuesday, just really like one name, Palantir. Priced in about 2.5 points. It's not the best day-to-day type trade stock, right? It's more of like a swing trade over like a longer time frame, but I mean, it can occasionally move when it reports. Last quarter was decent. That was this move here. So maybe I'll look at something speculative on the bull side just to see if we can get up to the top of the monthly resistance range. Tuesday after the close, a couple big names. So Coinbase priced in at about 33. It's had a huge run ahead of this report. Momentum's definitely strong, but I mean, just such a sharp run, the magnitude of the move. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to like get involved with this. It's one of the things I don't like is when a stock has a gigantic move right into the earnings release. Last quarter was pretty solid, and maybe if they can deliver it again, it keeps this run intact, right? But even if I don't play it on earnings, it's probably going to be like a post report type like focus for me to see like if the numbers are good and it can like hang out and keep digesting, and maybe it sets up like a swing trade, a couple weeks out. FUBO. So about 325 is what's priced in. I feel like it's kind of an interesting under the radar setup. So they had a solid quarter back in August, which was just pop, sitting right at the top of monthly resistance. Historically, it's a volatile name when it reports too, and you can see that there's definitely a lot of room above this area of resistance here. So, I mean, up or down, it seems like a setup where it could move. So it might be a volatility strategy candidate. Unity. About 16.5 points what's priced in, but those are monthly options. Top tier software play. It's been acting well into earnings. Seems like it could be a name that maybe sees a little bit of lower volatility because of the steady uptrend it's been in. But it is coming within striking distance of its 52-week high, so it's slightly more tempting. Definitely more of a game time decision for me, but depending on what they say and depending on how the stock acts, it might be like a nice like post earnings like swing trade candidate. UPST, just absolute gargantuan momentum stock lately. They're pricing in about 51 to 52 points for this earnings release. I mean, it would not surprise me to see this catch a bid before earnings next week because it's been one of those stocks that, last quarter was strong. It's been absolutely on fire since. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of interest ahead of this one. Options, though, and expectations seem to be very, very, very high. But the last few quarters were excellent. So, I mean, we'll have to see where it is that they report. For the open on Wednesday, Fiverr. So about 24.5 points is what's priced in. Those are monthly options. Upwork's report wasn't anything special. Fiverr's coming off a weaker report in August, and it's sitting right above a huge area of support, huge monthly area of support. So it has a ton of room to the downside if it disappoint. It might actually be a speculative bearish trade for me because if they do and it breaks, I mean, there's a lot of room lower that you can see. After the close on Wednesday, Affirm, so another really strong momentum name. They're pricing about 24.5 points. Leading name, acts great, had a big beat last quarter. Multiple partnerships announced since then too. I wouldn't be surprised if this catches a little bit of a bit ahead of earnings, but options to me are just a little bit too pricey, and expectations, kind of like UPST, are kind of elevated as well. So I'm not sure I'm actually going to play it on the actual report. All right, Bros. So new IPO, pricing in about 12.5 or so, 12.5. Those are monthly options. It's had a great run. It's off its recent high, but I mean, still up a lot since it debuted. I mean, it's the first report as a public company, so sometimes those are volatile. But I mean, after the run it's had, it seems like it's like a tough one to go after. So I'm most likely just going to be a spectator for this. Open Door, about 4.5 points is what's priced in. So this is going to be interesting because Zillow obviously just kind of abandoned their whole iBuy program, and now this got dragged down with it. It's rebounded a bit, but I mean, we don't really know what the impact is going to be to open. It could be a choppy quarter because of all the headlines, but volatility's been expanding. Last quarter was pretty good, so I mean, I feel like it's something that could be a big mover this week, but also, I mean, it's one of those where it's like, I mean, don't have a lot of conviction, but like it could either be a huge mover or it could be like a dud with all like the mixed headlines, right? It's kind of like maybe like a more of like a boom bust type setup. SoFi, so about 275 is what's priced in. Last quarter stunk, right? The stock broke down, and it's had a huge run out of earnings this report. So I feel like I'm a little bit more cautious on SoFi going into this quarter. Disney, about 8.5 points is what's priced in. This feels like a make or break quarter for the stock at the moment because I mean 170 has just been a massive area of support. It's sitting just a little bit above it. There's plenty of room higher, but also if it's not good and it loses 170, there's plenty of room lower too. So option pricing doesn't really seem to be reflecting the technical setup. So could be an interesting volatility strategy candidate. Before the open on Thursday, there's really only one name, Yeti. priced in about 10 points. I haven't traded this one much recently, but it keeps acting well. It's at a new all-time high out of earnings. Can occasionally be a mover, but I don't think I'm going to be doing anything with it. After the close on Thursday, Coupang. So it's been a real price about 325. Those are monthly options. It's really been a disappointment since it came public. It's been absolutely crushed. Last quarter was disappointing. I mean, it does look like it's attempting to turn the corner, but it's still a tough environment for these type of companies. Again, I haven't really traded in a while, but if I can get risk down, maybe something where I look at for volatility strategy, like a strangle maybe, just to see if it if they can surprise and it recovers, or if it stinks again and retests the low. Seems like there might be some potential with it. And then also Thursday after the close, BLNK. About 4 points was priced in. I usually prefer to trade ChargePoint in the EV charging space, but BLNK can be volatile at times. It doesn't really stand out to me right now as a compelling earnings setup, so I'm probably just going to leave it alone. But ChargePoint, again, it might be like a sympathy play because it's another EV charging name. And then lastly, before the open on Friday, there's really only one name, Warby Parker. About 6.5 points is what's priced in. Those are monthly options. They're also pretty illiquid too, the options. It just started. Like literally they just started listing options. They haven't really filled out much yet. It's been acting okay. It's a little bit less of like a focus for like new issues. I feel like more people aren't talking about it versus some other ones. But I mean, it seems like an okay setup where it could be a mover. Option pricing is not too crazy. But the biggest issue I have is just really the options themselves, because there isn't a lot of volume. There isn't a lot of liquidity. Spreads are pretty wide. The bid-ask spreads are pretty wide. So it might be kind of tough to get into the options. But if you're patient and it's something you're looking at, I mean, it does seem like one where the pricing is not too bad. That's it. So some big names, some big priced in moves. Definitely some interesting setups. So I feel like there's going to be a lot going on next week. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading earnings with options or swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you all on Monday.